Welcome back to Hilaal Live. Now, my next guest is no stranger to Hilaal TV. You, of course, know him as Moulana Sulaimaan Ravat, and I'd like to welcome him to our studios for Hilaal Live because he's going to be talking about his new book, which just launched online, called In Pursuit of Purpose. Moulana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Faraz, and to the viewers.
When talk to us about the book, obviously, I would like to call it a project that you've been building up, wanting to, obviously write this book. And alhamdulillah, it's got published. Just break it down for us, the timeline with regards to this.
Yeah, no, by the grace of Allah Ta'ala, I've been in public speaking now for almost 20 years. And over a period of time, many people have suggested to me in terms of my lectures, the public lectures, so not what I do on the radio or what I do on the TV, because that's very segmented and very different in terms of its pitch. So they said, the lectures that you give in the masjids and eidgahs and conferences and that kind of stuff, why don't you put it together in book form? The challenge I had, though, was that when I write out my talks, my lectures, I write it out in my own handwriting. I don't have a habit of typing it out. And I write out the points in a manner which I can understand, but it's difficult for other people to understand. So many times my two younger brothers who are also ulama, and they'll ask me, can we borrow your notes on a particular topic? And they look at this thing, then they have to ask me, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So because of that, I never got down to doing it. I thought to myself, it's too difficult here because if I had it typed out, for example, you could just give it to somebody and say, right, edit it and give some sequence and that kind of thing and put it into book form. So I never got down to do it. I would hear the suggestion from people and I would just smile and nod and say, yeah, make dua, inshallah, one day we'll look at it. And about 4 or 5 years ago, 1 or 2 people now started to, insist that this needs to be done. And I explained to them and I said, this is the challenge I have. So I've got notes. It's not that I just speak off the cuff. My notes are all filed physically and digitally. I have access to them. I understand them. But for somebody else to understand it and put it in book form is going to be a challenge. So then one of my friends, Mufti Yusuf Musaji, in 2021, he launched a book, 30 Ways to Happiness. So he learned a little bit about, the whole process. And he walked into my office one day at the radio station and said to me, look, we've got to make this happen and I will help you. I'll coordinate the whole project. So I said, okay, well, if you're willing to do that, because there's a lot of coordination and I just didn't have the time apart from that other challenge. So we found somebody who was willing to listen to the audio of my lectures and then transcribe it, which is a hell of a hassle.
Yes,
right?
yes, definitely.
And Allah reward him, Moulana Adam Dokrat and his family. And it took them a year plus, and they went through about 40 of my lectures and transcribed it. Once they transcribed it and gave it, I started going through the transcripts and I said to Mufti Musaji, see, when you're speaking to people, you speak in a particular way. Now, when you take those same words and you put it on paper, it doesn't have the same flow that is needed in a book. Anyway, it's good that they've transcribed it. Now, if any person wants my notes, I can give it to them. But I don't think we're going to have a book here because, there's just not enough of a flow. And it was given to someone to edit. It came back. It was a little bit better. I wasn't too happy with it. So I said, no, you know what? I'm going to try and edit it. But I just never got down to doing it because of time constraints. You're involved in so many things. And another year lapsed. And then I think it was sometime last year, Mufti Musaji told me, look, man, we've come this far, let's just try. And he found someone who said, okay, I'll help with the editing. And alhamdulillah, Sister Shamima did a fantastic job with the editing. Then we handed it over to publishers, RSB publishers. They did a fantastic job of the final edit, layout, design. And came December, they started putting pressure on me and saying, listen, we've got to get this book out by Ramadan. It's doable. On my to-do list for 2024, I thought this was something I will look at after Ramadan, elections, Hajj. Then the second half of the year will be a bit quiet. You know how it is in the media, right? It's the first 6 months of this year, very busy. They said, no, this book's got to come out before Ramadan. So I've been reading scripts as I'm traveling and checking and voice noting and editing. And alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, I think this weekend that passed, all the editing was done. It's sitting with the printers. They start to print this week. And hopefully, just as Ramadan starts, the physical copies will be available. So that's the story. It's surreal because even I can't believe it's a reality. In the end, it wasn't all 40 lectures. They brought it down to 15.
Yes.
Because already it's 276 pages. So you can imagine how big it would have been with all 40 lectures. And it would have taken a lot of time because those others would have to be edited. And the topics that have been chosen by the team, what they feel is very relevant to a broad spectrum of people. And then we came up with the title of In Pursuit of Purpose. And the rationale behind the title, and I wrangled with the title for a long time. There was different options. I had some ideas in my mind, and then they had some ideas, and eventually this was a mixture of different ideas that came into one wording. We all know our basic purpose in life, and that is to live for the pleasure of Allah and to seek the pleasure of Allah. But how do you achieve that purpose in a heightened sense? And this is where we feel the topics there like happiness, positivity, forgiveness, love, making Allah your beloved, serving humanity, knowing your worth. Those are some of the topics in the book that will help you to understand your greater purpose and also give you the tools to achieving that greater purpose, hence the title, In Pursuit of Purpose.
Moulana, how much did Mufti Musaji's book, The 30 Ways to Love, sort of like inspire you, and how much of a comparison is there, or maybe even a similarity to the book he's written, and comparing it with In Pursuit of Purpose?
So the similarity is that a couple of years ago on the radio, we had a theme for Ramadan on happiness. So he was doing one segment. And that book is basically all the notes from that particular segment. So it's, 30 ways to happiness. He did it on air, and then he took those notes and adjusted it, edited it, and it came into book form. So in that way, it's similar. The difference is that his book is on one topic, happiness. The opening chapter of my book is on happiness, but then there's a variety of chapters after that. And that's why, if you look at the cover of the book, it says 15 ways of discovering positivity, passion, perspective, and peace. So it's all PP, right? In pursuit of purpose. And that's what it is. So I think the unique nature of this book is this, in the sense that every chapter can read like a booklet. Every chapter can be independent of the other, right? So sometimes when you're reading a book on one topic, you may feel that, okay, there's a degree of monotony. But at the same time, there's a common thread between those chapters under that caption of In Pursuit of Purpose.
Moulana, for future scholars wanting to look at this book and use it as a reference for lectures or even enhancing their knowledge, I mean, both you and I know that every single day the enhancement of knowledge is something that we seek. So for future scholars, how much would this book help them in trying to further add to their knowledge?
I think it would, not because I did something fantastic. And I mentioned this in my preface. I don't claim any academic excellence, nor do I claim that I did very extensive or intensive research. My job always, in terms of giving talks, is taking information that's already there in classical works, in contemporary works, online, sifting it obviously in terms of authenticity. For me, the key always is in how you package the message and how you structure. So if you talk, for example, on forgiveness, there's no new ayah you're going to find, or new hadith you're going to find. And it's about how you make it relevant to the contemporary person, right? Or the person in the contemporary dynamic. So that's all I've done. And I have borrowed heavily from other scholars. There's a lot of works like this in Urdu, and in Arabic, where scholars internationally give talks and their students collate the talks. So I mean, Mufti Taqi Usmani's one known Urdu Islahi Khutbat, Islamic Discourses, was translated into English. That was, a famous example of where we all started off, because you would have content there on topics and you use that as a base and you build on it. So I'm hoping that it would have a similar benefit for scholars, inshallah. And we all learn from each other. It's not to say that whoever's going to learn from the book is junior to me or I'm senior to them. We all learn from each other. And it's not exclusively mine. It's what I've taken and put together. It's almost like a fruit salad. That's the example I like to give. It's not you that created the grape or the strawberry or the banana. You've took all the ingredients and it's about how you mixed it and how you presented it. So that's another thing about the book. I think it will benefit scholars, inshallah, and it will also benefit the layman. It's not too academic, not too technical, not too drawn out. And that's one of the reasons that the people who insisted that I put my lectures into book form felt that the manner in which those lectures are structured, it's not too basic, nor is it too academic and scholarly. So I think even lay people would be able to benefit. And that's why, since I went online, people have said, we're going to buy a few books, we give it as a Ramadan gift, there's an Eid gift, there's a corporate gift, because they feel it will have that broad-based appeal, inshallah.
Moulana, you wear many hats, alim, radio presenter, journalist, now being an author of a book. How does it feel from you from a personal perspective?
It's got a different kind of a feeling of satisfaction. And there's always been this. I don't want to take away anything from the spoken word, because that's what I do all the time, right? Be it in the masjid, be it in the radio, or be it here on the television. But when something's in writing, it has a different kind of, class to it. And it's like almost it's there. It's in black and white. It's forever. So it feels very special. I must be honest about that. And I make dua that Allah reward everyone who played a part, not only in the book, but in helping me with the content and everything prior to that. Many of great scholars, Mufti Mang, Sulaimaan Mullah, Ibrahim Bam, Mufti Zubair Bayat, amongst others, have written messages for the book. have done reviews, Idris Khamisa, Abba Shakir Hunter, Rehana Umar, and others. So I thank them as well that, they took out the time to put something into the book and to add to it. But that's the spirit of camaraderie amongst scholars, that we're there to help and assist each other, all in the name of knowledge and the spreading of deen, inshallah. So I hope people will get the book and they will benefit from the book, and that it will be a means of thawab for me and my family and a means of benefit for the ummah, inshallah.
Moulana, as always, jazakallah so much for making the time for joining us on Hilaal Live. Much appreciated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do go ahead and check out that book, In Pursuit of Purpose. It is the first, and we hope, inshallah, of many from Moulana Sulaimaan Ravat. After the break, I'll have your latest in news, finance, and sports. Do stay tuned.